Hello everyone and welcome to Microtech. We're on location in the Marfione Man Cave and I have my bro Sebastijan Berenji from Borka Blades.
Thank you, bro.
How you doing, brother?
Doing great.
You know what? Sebastian's designs have been instrumental and a staple in the Microtech lineup for a good long bit now. So we thought we would just give you a little introduction to, get the history and the background behind Sebastian's iconic designs here, starting with the stitch. So we just wanted to share a little bit because, nobody gets or understands a lot of what goes into a lot of these designs, the passion and the blood and iron that go into these things. But some of these pieces, these very, very early influential pieces, we wanted to show you how they've, basically have evolved over the course of just a little bit of time. So I'm going to, let Sebastian take on the floor here for just a moment and kind of explain what inspired him to make this particular folder. We all have things that over the course of some time, we have mentors, we have different designs that inspire us, of course, and in different genres. But Sebastian, do tell. I see a very, very, very early, and I remember this knife iconically. Tell us about your, how, when, and why. Just a little bit.
Well,
yeah.
First, I've been collecting knives for many years. Since I was a little kid, I got my first knife and always tried to have another one and another one, how the collecting go and try what is the best. They have the best cutting performance. Some of them have a best prying performance. Some of them are sturdy. Some of them are strong. There's a knife for every application. I wanted to have a knife when I get into knife making. I wanted to have a knife that is one for all. That can do everything that the knife can does. And come up with this design, and it's attractive in the same time because it's very important to be appealing as long as you have something that you like. And then the stitch was one of those designs. I like that forward cutting blade. Also, there's a good slicer. It's a very strong build. It feels really good in the hand, in the forward grip. In a backward grip, there's a choke out position. There's many applications you can do this knife. This is actually a very first ever built, and it was built in Pennsylvania in John Gray's shop. And
The guru, John Gray.
He helped me out a lot to put this knife together. Another person who helped me to make this knife happen and put in the CAD and everything was Dalibor Bergam. Those are the two guys that helped me make this knife actually happen. And that's where it all started. This was a very, very first one. I remember grinding this on the 8-inch wheel. Everything was done freehand on the machine. Just a lot of sweat, and it came out pretty good. It works perfectly, functions perfectly. It's just one of those things that I never wanted to let anything out that is not perfect, in my opinion. And that's how it started. I didn't know where it's gonna go. This is something that I had in my head and I envisioned that could be a perfect pocket knife at the time. And that was like more than 10 years ago.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, the time frame. The time is just kind of whisked away. But I remember when I first seen this stitch model, I knew it was going to be a hit.
And time proved over 10 years that is
Still
so well.
Yeah.
So this other one, this was number 6. I kept number 6. Number 6 is my number. And I remember meeting Tony and, with all that machining and doing it by hand and still not being able to do it perfect. I don't have a big machining background or anything like that, so I did the best I can. I met Tony and I wanted to bring this knife to the next level. And I remember this exact knife. I brought it here in the shop and we took it apart, and I wanted to get some of the, parts built and done so it can be even better than it was. And it did. It got better and better over the years. Yeah. And it wasn't bad at all, but now it's much better. So
100%. Yeah. Show the next evolution.
Next level. This was the latest. I built this like a couple of months ago. So this is where it is. And the scales are done by another guy that I want to mention, his good friend, Mike Bond. He does great, and I'm very proud I came to America and I accomplished my dream here, and I'm still, working hard every day to be the best version of myself and an American person. So I'm proud to have a American flag with my skull and some of my things, and it's one of the probably the knife that I'm most just all around me with help with Mike, with help with you, and, to make it happen. In this industry, I feel like, a lot of things we do it by ourselves, but being surrounded with the right people and they can push you on that next level and complete your dream.
Sebastian, what inspired you on this particular model? You could have done any folder, you could have done any SKU. You mostly did, some karambit and some fixed blades, which I even have in my collection. But what was the main driver behind the thought process in your head when you designed this? That's what I think people would love to hear.
Yeah, first before that I had a SB1. SB1 is my fixed blade, basically, of the stitch, and I like that fixed blade that was so versatile and able to work almost as a cutting knife, as a kitchen knife, because in the stitch you can use the whole length of blade like most
without
other
banging
knives.
Your knuckles.
Without
That's
banging
right.
your knuckles.
Yeah.
That was that fixed blade, had a little bit forward designed blade. And then in a tactical application, if you need to do a stamp cut, this blade is forward, so it's going to be closer there. In a reverse grip, same thing. If you want to throw a jab, you need to twist your wrist a lot. It's there.
It's there.
Of course, I always do my best to have the best deal. I think these early ones, I believe this was S90V, this was 10 years ago, I'm not sure, or S30V, that was probably one of the best things I was able to obtain in that time.
Yeah.
And then when I start working with you, I know you always do the best deals possible in the market.
100%.
And we went to M390, and now we evolving into some other things.
Some other things. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Yes.
So yeah, when I did that, and I wanted to have a folder, I wanted my folder to have all those things, and it wasn't easy to put that together, especially for me, who's coming, no machining background, no any kind of thing. So I know how to do it, and one of the guys who pushed me through it was Dalbor Bergam. He helped me put in the CAD and make it right, and then John Gray helped me build it together. And that was it. So because I felt this knife can do it all. Like you can choke up on this knife, do final tasks, you can do a little harder work. It's built extremely strong. The tip is a little maybe fragile for some people, depends if you want to pry or whatever, but I think the knife should have a nice fine tip, because there is a purpose on the knife to have a pointed tip, and you can do fine work with it.
100%. So if you think about it from a perspective, because we monitor everything that comes in, the stitch, if you have any knife that comes back on any kind of warranty, is in the last of the line of anything that we do. So even though that you would think that the tips are a little bit thin, we get very, very few to any that would have a chip or anything along those lines. I've never had a broken stitch come in. So you'll typically, most of what we'll see on your build is guys will dabble with them, or they'll try to customize them, they'll lose screws, or they'll strip something out. But as far as a sturdy blade, very far and in between as far as this build is concerned. And we got guys that use these knives extremely hard. Yes?
And then when we did the production line, the Stitch Auto is a workhorse. I know the way this build and bushings, the thick pivot, it's same, the T20 and T8,
yes.
So it's easy to
Very
for the
sturdy.
field or whatever, if you need to tighten it or anything. It just all around evolved I'm so proud of it. I'm proud of it, it continues to prove over 10 years, it sells really well. People are still excited about it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was luck. Maybe it was a connection of people,
Sure.
all together when it came, and it's just perfect.
It's been working, like I said, it's a top choice. It's in the top 5 of our grossing sales. So
It makes me really happy.
it's between the ram locks and everything else that we're doing. Like I had mentioned before, the only thing that could be better than a full size stitch is an M size. So that's something that we're going to continue to evolve this line. But yeah, it's been an absolutely great knife to have in our lineup, and we look forward to continue to push the envelope, especially with metallurgy coming up. So again, tell me, why Stitch? Why the name?
Why Stitch is funny. A lot of people ask this, and they think Stitch give you stitches and whatnot.
That
but
too, yeah.
I came to this country pretty late, and I never seen Lilo and Stitch. I think I was in my close to 30s, probably in 30s. Yeah. I saw Lilo and Stitch, and I loved that character so much. He was just so badass, feisty, but had a good heart, and
yes,
I can relate to that quite a bit. So I needed to give a name, and I think that was just an appealing name at the time, and I'm happy for it. It's good, but I know that a lot of people think like, oh, it's something more or something more, but no, it's just a Stitch character, and I just ringed with me very well, and
it works. It sticks. It sticks. That's really, really good. That's really, really good. And as a lot of people, just we could explain. I mean, we do the versions at Microtech, which includes the Stitch Auto, which has been a workhorse in our lineup. I mean, we've built some very sturdy platforms over the years, and you know, the Stitch is takes no second place to any of the lineup. It still runs on a hardened ground bushing, you know, hard coat handles, titanium componentry. It's been a workhorse in our lineup for some time. So, unbelievable piece. I think the only thing that could be a little bit better than this would be a mid-size version of this knife. So definitely, you know, as we're getting closer to producing a mid-size, because the M has always been a very popular version. It's only been done in customs up to this point. You know, so you could see the size comparisons between the both. So imagine this same version in a ram lock or an auto, just built the same way. I'm looking forward to that. So
me too.
100%, 100%. But yeah, I mean, the Stitch in the lineup, all the different configurations that we do between the auto, and then of course the ram lock versions have been extremely popular for us. And like I said, the possibilities are endless. You know, with different handle configurations, different accoutrements, finishes, and so forth. But these have been workhorses amongst our line. So, you know, a lot of our, you know, special application users and stuff, they gravitate towards this knife. You know, there's making no mistake, it's a very, very sturdy platform, and either the manual or the automatics. You know, and that's another thing, folks. Sebastijan's has brought many different designs, not just the Stitch, although that's the iconic folder within Microtech. He's done some fixed blades. You know, what is it, the SBD dagger?
SBD, SBK.
SBK, what was the Persian?
That was the SBK.
Oh, the SBK, yeah. Okay, I get the names.
SBD, and then, yeah, now we're going to go to Always Survive.
Yes, we want to show you this today. I mean, it's no stranger to the lineup, but Microtech is going to be producing this particular SKU. And I love it. I love it, and the wrapped is my favorite. The last hunt I was on, I actually took this blade with me, the one that Sebastijan had made for me. But this piece is just super, super sexy, and we're super excited for the adaptation that's coming through Microtech. And it'd be likely that we're probably looking at running it in a very specialized material this round. You know, we love the M390 MK, but I think the initial productions are going to be a newer advanced material from Bowler that we're experimenting with, because we're looking for cutting ability on this one here. You know, we have anything could be used from a tactical application, but we're looking something a little bit more field use. You know, whether you hunt or you camp, it could serve all those platforms.
Pure performance knife.
Exactly, 100%. So we're super excited to introduce that, and you'll definitely see those in numbers at Blade Show. So stay tuned for this particular piece. We're super excited, super excited. There's another version here. It has a micarta handle that Sebastijan just made, and yeah.
Actually, I modified that handle from the SBD. I mean,
you did.
The always surviving knife, like the name itself is like, I remember like there were some parts that were machined wrong or something like that, and I took one of the SBDs and I turned it into the always survive. So on the production model, we do have some slight changes. But this is the closest it's going to look, and it's going to be some upgrades because there are going to be some jimpings and the back's going to be changed. It's going to be improved even on a different level, and with the blade steel and the cutting performance, I know it's going to do really well. And
that's another thing. Even though that we'll probably even go with a Kydex carry system, we're looking at doing something in leather as well. We've gotten a ton of requests for a simple leather sheath, because if you remember back in the day, you know, when we collected knives when we were younger, I mean, you buy a Cold Steel, you buy an old Gerber, it always came with a leather sheath. So I think that if we can get that this round, that would be a really beautiful option, specifically for this build.
I love leather.
Yeah,
I mean, like
I do
my
too.
personal, I always have a leather.
The leather is always just warm in the hand. So you know, because I think like anything else, you know, some of the fixed blades, I love them all, but some of the carry systems, you know, sometimes I think we could improve. You know, Absolutely. It all depends on how you can. So we're really interested to see how we could tip the scale on how this knife could be carried effectively. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. So we're super excited. And yes, I mean, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I said, hey, bro, send me some sketches.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so he buttoned it up and got on the drawing board, and really I'm extremely happy with the new configuration that you came up with, and the adaptation that we're preparing to build now is very close to your drawings. So I
very
like that.
excited.
It takes a lot of the guesswork out for me, but because Sebastian and I work together on these things, and I add a little bit of the DNA from Microtech into it. But really, this time when I seen the handle, I was like, hell yeah, this is exactly spot on. I couldn't have done a better job on that there. So we're super
You're
excited
so nice,
to
man.
see.
I appreciate that. But
No, we're excited. We're excited because when I seen it, it was like that's the kind of kung fu I like. We could always morph it, and because this particular piece, came from a derivative of the SBD, and but for you to change the configurations to give it everything it can be, it makes it exciting. I was showing the guys around the shop the SLA models and everything, and everybody was getting geeked out on it. So we were pretty excited to. It's something as simple as a fixed blade. It just creates a lot of juice for the guys around the shop. The folders will be coming, and we'll definitely see you out at the blade show, but we just wanted to give you just a little bit of history behind the birth of this knife. Like I said, it's been iconic in our lineup, and will continue, I believe, for many, many years ahead. So Sebastian's home base is located in Houston, Texas. I want Sebastian to just explain a little bit about your gear site and your website that you have coming up, please.
thank you. Yeah, so I didn't have a website for 10 years. I've been working with you, and just incognito. I didn't make that many custom pieces that I needed. Most of my stuff is sold to the existing customers that they're collecting my stuff, and to the people who come to Blade Show, and I get to see them in person. So now we have a website finally, and I tend to have some of the production line, some of the exclusive stuff there. It's still developing, but borkablades.com is gonna have some exclusivity that I plan to have there. Probably not on my custom pieces because I'm very limited with those. But I'm working with Microtech, and we're gonna have
100%.
some limited stuff for that.
Yeah, we've been
so-
talking about doing some things, some very, very crafty things that will be only available on your website. I'm excited to do that. That's going to be neat. And I think also swag and some other things you'll have on there as well.
Yeah, mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, and some of the other things. It's gonna be there.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, yeah. So everyone, like I said, come see us at the Blade Show. We're going to be showing you some new items and some new things. So definitely stay tuned.